Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink. It is time for some Path of Exile 1 discussion. Today, Granny Games have started out teaser season for patch 3.26 Secrets of the Atlas, and they've started with a pretty big feature that I'd like you to just pause and reflect on the implications of for a second. Sorry, that pun was so bad that I just had to get it out of the system. And Editing Gog here with a clarification that I'm not actually sorry. That's right, you're going to be able to pause the game in 3.26. Now, this is going to be something that will happen automatically when you press escape or when you bring up various full screen interfaces. It's not yet absolutely confirmed which full screen interfaces are involved. We know that this is going to include bringing up the passive tree. We would expect it applies to the Atlas tree. But then there's a couple of things where you don't bring up the interface, such as interacting with Jun in maps. I really hope that those pause the game, but we don't have absolute confirmation on that as yet. Anyways, this video that Granny Games has put up showcases a little bit of gameplay where someone pauses the game, and it also points out one of the limitations where it intentionally does not work. And that is when you're fighting pinnacle bosses. So they showcase a fight against the Uber Elder encounter, and in that encounter, you'll see that you are unable to pause the game, and that the player actually has a debuff. And this debuff is simply entitled Cannot Pause. This player then attempts to pause the game and ends up going splat, as is going to be what happens if you try to pause the game during pinnacle encounters. The reason for this is that Granny Games don't want a situation where the strongest possible strategy in order to defeat various endgame bosses is to constantly pause, unpause the game. Now, there's a few solutions they could have gone for, but they've chosen to go for you cannot pause. There's going to be a few other scenarios in which this feature is going to kick in as well. This is going to include when latency is detected at certain levels. We don't have any details on that, but the intention is that it's just going to pause the game when the game detects that you've got a temporarily terrible connection. Likewise, some sort of disconnects may also have the same effect rather than automatically logging you out to the menu. Now, people who play in hardcore difficulty are still probably going to have a logout macro as they do at the moment, because whilst this is going to be a powerful way to get out of trouble, it's not going to be quite as certain as the logout macro tends to be. Now, one thing Granny Games love doing though is hiding little things inside their teasers. And there is a teaser hidden inside this teaser. Can you see it on the screen right now? No, I'm not talking about that section of monsters. No, I'm not talking about the Titan gauntlets. I am talking about the stack of 71 gold in the lower left corner of the screen. Right now, it is the case that if you play on any of the leagues that are parented to settlers, gold is a part of the game. But if you instead play in Standard League or any of the other permanent leagues like Permanent Hardcore, then you will not encounter any gold. Gold is something that is not part of the core game at the moment, but it feels like it is because it's been around for, I think Settlers is gone for like 300 days now. And so it feels like it's been around forever in a game that moves as fast as Path of Exile. What this is indicating to me is one of two things. Either Granny Games are planning on making gold core, as almost all of us expect, and exactly the formation that that's going to take isn't yet clear, or alternately, Granny Games have made a little bit of a mistake in this video. But given how much they love hiding little subtle teasers inside teasers, I would say that it is the case that they're basically confirming gold is going core in some form in patch 3.26, as most of us expected. So that's one overt teaser and one covert teaser of what's going to be coming in Secrets of the Atlas, which is about 3 weeks away now, actually a little bit less than 3 weeks away. Now, the biggest single piece of news though is going to be that live stream reveal, which I will be restreaming. That's going to be taking place on day 12. So today is day 1 of teaser season, but a little bit earlier in the day than this on day 12, that's when we're going to get the main information about what's coming. Until then though, expect a whole bunch of little teasers. I'll put out daily videos if there's enough content to justify doing that. And if it turns out that there's not, then I'll put them out on some sort of other schedule. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. May your Varlobs have interesting results.